Okay. Hello, class. As you know, today is asynchronous, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show us some of the things that we would be learning today if we were in the classroom, so that we're going to be able to at least work on the things that I give you. So, review just from yesterday. From yesterday, we talked about one thing and one thing only. And that was our number line. It's our number line. If we remember with our number line, we have arrows on both ends. Tells us our number line goes on forever. And we have notches to tell us where our numbers go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll go up to 7 on this number line. So as you can see, we have our number line right here. It goes from 0 to 7. We went over one word that's going to be key also to what we're doing today. That word was coordinate. If you remember, the coordinate is just going to be a point on our line. So if I were to create a point, that's right here. Now I'll call this point A. The coordinate of point A on line, let's just call this line X. A coordinate of A on line X is 3, because that's its position on line X. The fact that its coordinate is 3 means that it's going to be 3 away from our origin. Our origin is going to be 0. So our coordinate here is 3. If I were to make another point, I were to put that point right about here. Labels point B. The coordinate of B on line X is going to be 6, because it's at the number 6. We also talked about how number lines don't just have to go this way. They could also go up and down. They could go diagonal. But what if, hear me out here, what if our number lines intersected with each other? What if we had two perpendicular number lines, and they meet up at our origin here, 0? What if we had two number lines that meet up at the same point? There we go. This one's 1. This one's 2. This one's 3. 4, 5, 6, 7. This one can actually go up to 8 on, so I'm going to stop at 8 for this one. So we have two lines. We have our line, we labeled that one as X. This one, well, let's just label it as Y. This will be line for Y. So if we have two different lines that are connecting, you can start to ask a few more questions. Well, we said that our coordinate of point A on line X was 3, what about the coordinate of A on line Y? Well, you might be thinking, oh wait, A is not on Y, Y is all the way over here, A is all the way over here. But if we trace A all the way back, we find out that A, when it's on line Y, is actually on 0. It's the same with B over here. B, if we trace it all the way back, all the way straight down to line Y, it ends up at 0. So the coordinate of point A on line Y is 0. The coordinate of point A on line X is 3. This is what's going to bring us into something. We're going to expand on coordinate. We're going to go to coordinate pairs. We're going to move on to coordinate pairs. It's when we have two different number lines that are going to be coming together like this. When we have two, we could start talking about a single point having more than one coordinate, and we could talk about their coordinate pairs. So, the coordinate pair for point A, we're going to do, and we're always going to do this from now on, we're going to do line X and then line Y, and we're going to write it like this. So, A's coordinate point, we're going to say that its coordinate point is 3. This is a parenthesis, so parenthesis 3. Now that we're done with that one, we're going to put a comma. And remember, its coordinate on Y is 0. So we're going to write a 0 right here. So the coordinate pair for point A is 3, 0. And remember, we put those in parentheses because we don't want anything touching that. This is on its own. Nothing gets to touch that part. If you look at our coordinate point for B, our coordinate pairs, well, put our first parenthesis. We talk about our X first. So its coordinate on line X is 6. And its coordinate on Y, go all the way over to Y, well, it's at 0. So B, 6, 0. Well, we have two coordinates that are on that X line. What if we put a coordinate on our Y line? So let's just go over here. I'm thinking I want to put my point C. Let's make this look more like 6. Let's put our point C, and I don't know, let's put it right here. Right here. I'm going to make this a new color. I'm going to go blue. I'm going to change this to blue. I'm going to change all of my points to blue just so that we can see them and so that we know that these aren't just random points on the line. They're actual points that have some meaning to us. I'm going to change this A. I'm going to make this A as a blue. I'm going to get my eraser. Let's get rid of these. Get my pen back out. This is point A. This is point B. This right here is our point C. Let's look at point C. Well, for point C, do you think we're going to do the 4 first? I mean, both of the other times we had the 0 at the end. Would it make a little bit of sense to put a 0 at the end? No. It doesn't. Don't be fooled by that. No matter what the number is, you have to do what your X is first. Our X goes first. So let's go to our X line. Well, it's not on the line itself, but if we go straight up from 0, it lands on our point. So that must mean that the coordinate of point C on line X must be 0. I'm going to write in here. I'm going to write its first one is 0. And then let's look at line Y. Oh, it's directly on there. This is super easy. Point C, the coordinate of point C on line Y is 4. So we're going to come over here. We're going to write 4. Problem solved. Right? It's our coordinate of point C. Let's go like this. Okay, well, let's do another point that's on line Y. Let's go, I don't know, let's go 6. Place it right there. We're going to call this point D. Well, point D, it's going to be just like C. It's not on the line of X. But if we go all the way over to 0 and we go up, we're gonna hit D. So I mean, I guess that the coordinate of point D on line X is gonna be 6. No, it's not gonna be 6. It's gonna be 0. Don't listen to me. It's gonna be 0. But on line Y, if we go up, it's at 6 on line Y. So we know that D is going to be 0, 6. 0, 6. Now let's look at this. Wait a minute. But B is 6, 0. And D is 0, 6. Are these the same coordinate? No. Not the same coordinate. Remember, order matters when it comes to our coordinates. Our first one is going to be our X. So this tells us where our X is, where we are on our X line. The second number always tells us where we are on our Y line. So just because they both have a 0 and a 6 doesn't mean that they're the same coordinate, because the order of that 0 and that 6 really, really matters for us. Well, I think there's something else to think about. You see, we've looked at points on line X, and we found out that if it's directly on line X, well then it's at a 0 on line Y. And we figured out that if it's directly on line Y, it's a 0 on line X. But what happens if the point's not on either of the lines? I'm going to take a point right now. I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to make this point E. Okay, let's look at point E. How are we going to do point E? It's not on line X, and it's not on line Y, so it's not like an easy way to find out. But that's why we have to go back and look at these other examples. If we go back to example A wasn't on the Y line, so we just shot over from the 0 over there, and we found out, oh, it's on 0 at the Y line. So let's see where it is on the Y line over here. Well, it's not on 1. Well, it's not on 2. It's going to be all the way over here at 3. It's going to be at 3. So, okay, well, it's over here at 3. So that means I put 3 first, right? If you just said yes, and I can't hear any of you say yes because this is a recorded video, pre-taped. If you just said yes, you'd be wrong. Remember, anything that's on our Y line comes second. So we're going to start to fill this out. We're going to leave this first part blank, put our comma here. It's going to be 3 because the coordinate of E on line Y is going to be 3 because we just ticked it over. We know that this is going to come all the way over here. It's on 3. Well, can that same thing work with line X? I'll give you a hint. I wouldn't be asking that question if it didn't. So it's not going to be 1, obviously. Can't be 2. Can't be 3. But it can be 4. It is 4. It's a little bit off center, but let me tell you, it is 4. So now we know that the coordinate of E on line X is 4. So I'm going to come over here. I can put a 4. So the coordinate pair for point E is going to be 4, 3. You don't need to say 4, 3. It's 4, 3. And if you say that to anybody, they will know, okay, so if I have two connecting lines, and one of them's X and one of them's Y, then I just need to go 4 over on the X and 3 up on the Y. So let's look at another one. If I were to put a point, let's say, we'll put it here. If I were to point here, I'm going to label this as F, point F. Well, let's start with our X. Shoot up from 1. No, I'm not hitting it. Let's shoot up from 2. I am hitting it. Let's go all the way up. And we hit that F. So we know that for point F, I'll write it over here because I'm lacking space over here. For point F, our X coordinate, that's what we call it when it's on our X line, our X coordinate is going to be 2 because it's right above our 2. Let's see what our Y coordinate is. We can obviously not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, but it looks like 8 works out perfectly fine. So F is going to be 2, 8. The coordinate pair for point F is going to be 2, 8. So let's say, instead of plotting points and then finding the coordinate pair from them, let's say I want point G. Let's talk about point G. I'm going to do point G in a different color. I need point G. I don't know if we can read that too well. Let's get a different color. Let's get this one. Point G to be 5, 5. So this time we're given our coordinate pair. We need to find the point from that. Well, all we have to do is just do everything that we've done. We just have to do it in reverse. Do it backwards. So what do we know about that 5 in the front? Well, that 5 in the front means that on our line X, point G has a position of 5. So we're not just going to put the point on 5 because we know that there's more information, but we know that it has to be here or up. So what we're going to do is we're just going to draw this line, and we're going to go all the way up, and I'm going to obviously stop there because we have points written there and I don't want to invade their space. But just know this line would go all the way up there. Well, we're trying to still find out what G is. Well, what does that second 5 say? Oh, well, that second 5 on our line Y, that just means that the position, the coordinate of point G on line Y is also going to be 5. So that means, okay, we go over to 5. We can't just put it down right there. Again, we're going to do the exact same thing that we did on line X. Well, we're going to go this way. We're just going to dash off. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Wait a minute, why did I keep going? My line's already connected. I now know that this is where our point G needs to be. Because this is at coordinate 5 on our X and at coordinate 5 on our Y line. So this is our brief introduction to our coordinate pairs. Coordinate pairs are very important. They are essential to being able to remember and being able to find out where our points are. With that, this is going to be the end of this video. As I will have probably already said in a Schoology message by this moment, after you're done watching this video, there's going to be something in Schoology for you all to complete. It is a problem set that is based off of all the things that we've done so far. So everything that we've worked on so far with coordinate pairs, that's all that this problem set is going to be on. So we shouldn't have any struggle. If you do, send me a message on Schoology. I'll make sure to get back to you as soon as I can. Once you have saved it, you are going to then resubmit that as an assignment over Schoology. And if anybody has any issues with that as well, let me know. I'll help out as best as I can. I will see all of you tomorrow. Have yourselves a great rest of your day.